All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to my stream, Eric Noltowski Art. I've got Mike McMahon with me today. This is very, I'm like not even in the mood for like doing this all proper. So Mike is with me again today. Excited to be with him and just chat. And we'll do some drawing and hopefully you will join us. And if not, you can watch it later on the YouTubes. But awesome, man. How's it going, Mike? How are you?
I'm doing good. Been busy. I got the page I have right here is page 48 of U.S. Assassin Volume 2. I have 2 more pages to do, and then I am done.
Wow. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Congrats. That's probably a really good feeling, huh?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, especially when, like, they're turning out pretty good, so I'm happy.
Cool.
Usually by the end, I'm, like, either petering out or getting like a second win. I'm like, oh, I wish I had more to do, but kind of good where we're at right now.
Cool. Now, are you hopping right on to the next book after this?
I have another project I'll be working on. Can't really say anything about it right now, but then after that, Volume 3 of U.S. Assassin is it'll be coming soon. It depends on when Mark wants it to roll out, because we still have to do the Second Chance campaign for U.S. Assassin Volume 1, but we have to wait till all the people who got the free copy through Graveyard Shift Volume 2 campaign, till those books ship, we can't start that Second Chance campaign.
Gotcha.
So then we can't even really do anything for Volume 2 yet. So as long as things roll like they do, I'm thinking probably June we'll do the Second Chance campaign. I would think, because from what John said this morning on his stream, the books won't get there till end of May, possibly the very first week of June, and then they'll do fulfillment right after that. So I want to make sure everybody that, got us to, I think it was like 176,000 or something like that on that campaign. It was like the very last stretch goal. And their huge push at the end. John went on Ethan's stream, and I think they raised that night like 30 grand just that night to push us that far. So
that's awesome.
Huge respect for everyone that came in and let us hit that goal, so that everyone can get a copy of the book. I'm super excited for everyone to see it. I do have a copy of it right here. Yeah, it's nice to have it in your hand, and
that's cool.
Yeah, I'm super excited for everyone to see it, but I can't really.
You did the cover too, right? Is that
you? Yep.
Nice. Yeah,
that was actually done in like 2016, I think.
Okay.
It's been recolored a couple times. I believe this is Anthony George's colors on it, I believe. The original person that colored it is a guy that goes by King Bola on Facebook, and he's a great colorist too. John wanted it more amped up, though, so he got Anthony to do it. I'm pretty sure. Let me.
Like the colors pop with the you can do all the special graphics and stuff.
Yeah, all those sparks and stuff. It's pretty cool. But yeah, it's really cool. But like, we got Andrew Dollhouse to ink it. Yeah, I can't show. I might get in trouble. So I don't want to get in trouble.
I'm trying to. Okay, there we go. I was trying to present just you, so I could see the book bigger, but it wasn't. I couldn't get it.
Oh.
But I got it now. Can you just show the cover? There we go. Now we can kind of see the full. Nice. All right, cool.
Yeah. Yeah, we wanted to go for kind of like the movie poster of American Ninja, where he's holding the samurai sword in front of the American flag, and so he kind of, gave it a can of Red Bull and some nitrous and set it on fire, and then here's the back cover.
Cool.
I did this. This is an homage piece to one of my favorite people and artists, but Marat Michaels has a print like this, but it's Deadpool, and he usually puts different team jerseys on it.
Yeah.
And so I just kind of took the layout of it and did U.S. Assassin, because Marat's been a super huge influence and a great friend. He's actually gotten me my first gigs back into the business after the stuff I did in the 90s, and
nice.
I worked on Naughty and Nice, and let's see what I've got. I think I've got it here. Let's see. I did a piece in the Naughty and Nice bikini special, lingerie special. I did a piece. That's the first full book I did, was Naughty and Nice number 8, and a backup story, Enjoying Pain number 3. And then I did a story in the Halloween special. And
are those just like, is it just pinups in the whole thing, or what is it?
Let's see. Let's practice this. So the Halloween special, I did a story. I did I think it's like 6 pages.
Okay.
And then let's see. That's a cover I did for a buddy of mine's book, Ice Pick, Todd Rayner.
Cool.
Let's see. And Enjoying Pain, I did the last, I think it's like 6 or 7 pages. Crocodile. Curb stomping a crocodile. And then the full story I did.
Is that Marat's company, or?
Yeah, it's Counterpoint Entertainment.
Okay.
And he does a really great job on all of his campaigns on Kickstarter. They usually fund within the first couple hours, or first day at least.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, and that's one of my favorite pages.
That's cool.
Babes with guns. But yeah, I kind of got the ball rolling with me drawing again. I really hadn't done a whole lot, and then because we were all friends on the Liefeld message boards, is how we kind of met. Like, there's the.
Is that you?
Yeah, I did that.
Cool.
Yeah, we'll cover up the tush. Sorry. Yeah, and that's colored by Sean Forney. A lot of the stuff I did was either Anthony George or Sean Forney coloring it. He has a great book too. Oh gosh, it's eluding me at the time. Anyway, my brain goes all over the place. I'm sorry.
No worries, man.
Yeah, I can't show the bikini special one because that's kind of
No problem.
Yeah, but then I did. I had a thing in the Turner. Where is it? There we go. I had to brush it out real quick. So it's.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's
kind of like I look at it and I'm like, no thanks.
Is that Fathom on the bottom, and who's on the top?
Soulfire, Grace from Soulfire.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, it's a series I never got into. I bought a few copies of Fathom. I kind of like more of like his Witchblade stuff, and
as soon as he stopped getting inked, it was hard to. I still like his stuff, but having an inker for him was like Joe Weems was like the best thing for him because all that Fathom work, there was like super intricate little extra details that you could tell Joe put into the work, especially the underwater stuff, like all the little cracks on the coral and he I actually got booted off of the Aspen years ago. Excuse me, before I did that piece, I got booted off of the old Aspen message boards because I said I prefer, Mike being inked by Joe Weems, and I think it was Peter Steigerwald replied something about how a fictitious person didn't make Mike look good or something like that. I don't know. I'm like, oh wow, Joe Weems is a fake person. Okay. and then I tried to like log into my account like the next day, and my account was gone. I'm like, oh, okay. So that's how it's gonna go. All right.
You got the equivalent of blocked from Twitter.
It was weird, but that kind of stuff happens. People will take things the wrong way, but it's hard because online, it's hard to know the intent behind the written word unless you.
Yeah, totally. It's like when you text
that person.
Yeah. Things can be misconstrued, or you read it in the way you think their attitude might be, and you're like, oh wow, he's got an attitude, I'm not gonna.
oh yeah, exactly. And it's kind of ridiculous, but it is what it is. It's the internet. It's full of people that just want to have something to be upset about a lot of the times. But then on the same side of it, there's people that just want same stuff we do, fun comics and just to geek out with each other and create, don't hate. It's my hashtag.
Right. Cool. And I just want to let people know I did post the link to Mike's USA Assassin Book 1. You could sign up for it on Indiegogo.
Thank you.
Yeah. Do you guys? I know some people, when you sign up for the pre-launch campaign page, you can are you guys doing any free things or freebies for anyone who signs up?
I'm not sure. Okay. Mark Polton, the writer, kind of handles that stuff.
Gotcha.
Yeah, gosh, I'm unprepared in that end of that. I'm not sure if he has anything that he wants to do. We're going to be doing like head sketches that I'll put in for people to get. I haven't really decided if it's just all going to be the main character, or if I'll just do a bunch of random. But then I don't want people to be like, oh, I wish I would have got this. So it just make more sense just to do one character.
Yeah.
But there's going to be the campaign. There's going to be pages for sale. I have 10 pages I've picked out, and then there's 3 double-page spreads that I've picked out from the book that we'll put up on, has different tiers you can pledge to, and also get the book. So cool. I know Mark's in the middle of putting it all together right now, the actual campaign. Because we talked this weekend about what pages, how many pages I was willing to put up, and I was kind of like, oh, it's not that I'm willing, it's that they're just going to sit in my drawer if we, they're not in somebody else's hands, they're just going to be sitting in a drawer. So I'd rather have them in a fan's hands. So we went through, picked out pages, and then I picked up. There's only 3 double-page spreads in the book, so we put all 3 of those at a higher pledge point, and those are awesome. None of the pages that are going to be part of the campaign are boring pages, are like talking head pages or people drinking coffee. It's all every single one's gonna either be like an important shot, like the first appearance of a character, or like a full page spread. They're all going to be good pages. You're not gonna get one that hopefully you won't be disappointed with if you pledge. So
Yeah.
but yeah,
and
then we're looking at just down the road, we got some stuff that we want to there's two of them right there.
Yeah, man, that's a lot of action. Is this one on the left a double page spread? Are they both double page spreads?
Both of them. Yeah, both of them are. Yep.
Okay, nice. Yeah, man, that's a lot of action. That's awesome.
Yep. We wanted to try to bring the extreme back since that's where we met. All of us met was the Liefeld boards back in the early. Well, gosh, I think I got on there 2006, and then I think the group that's kind of in Comicsgate now, like John and Anthony George, Mark Polton, one of the guys that he just had a cover inked, EJ Morgs was there, Kanan White was on those boards, just a ton. Wow. Ben Jones, we were all on the Liefeld boards, and that's how we all kind of met. And after that kind of went its own way, we've all still kept in touch, and John and I have done 2 Wizard Worlds together, one in Philadelphia, one in Chicago. Mark was at the one in Philadelphia. We stayed at his house, and I think that's the first time I saw. Well, not the first time I saw in print. The first time I saw Graveyard Shift stuff, that was like 2011.
Oh wow.
I was working on something with Mark that eventually got canceled because I was too. But we each had a preview book for that convention, and so I still have that preview book, and the art in it is completely different from what the final product was that everyone got, because John had time to go over and rework stuff and on it, and
so he did the first Graveyard Shift like way back then.
Yeah. They as soon as I think Mark told the story a couple times. They started on Graveyard Shift, and then John got offered Youngblood for the 2012 relaunch. And then when that ran its course, they started back on Graveyard Shift. And then during that, he got hired at Marvel. And so that ran its course, and then he did Jawbreakers, and then came back to finish out Graveyard Shift so that they could launch it. And it's kind of nice that it had all those skips, because they shopped it around, and oddly enough, like even Image was like not interested in it, and it blows my mind because it's an Image book. I mean, if you look at it, you're like, wow, I know where this belongs. It belongs at Image Comics, and Image Comics is like, well, it's not, I don't know, talking flowers with hearts and crap. I don't know. So it's kind of, I think it worked out better that it went through Indiegogo and crowdfunded with, the movement of Comicsgate behind it and stuff like that. I think it did a better service for the product, because I mean it's printed well, it's printed on great paper, and the cover, and I think it got the love it deserved.
Exactly, yeah. And the creators would probably get more of the money than Image would.
Oh yeah. And I think it did better than it would have at Image. I mean, it's just crazy how crowdfunding and stuff has changed the game. Growing up, I used to always think, oh wow, it'd be nice to work for Marvel or DC, and now I'm like, people who work for Marvel and DC can't even make a living at it anymore. They have to have a second job, or their spouse has to have, unless you're one of the top tier guys. People are just scraping by, and I'm crowdfunding seems to be where it's at, because you're in control of your destiny.
Exactly.
You choose whether you're successful or not. You don't have to. I mean, it's a double-edged sword, because it is all on you and your creative team, but at the same time, you're not beholden to a company. You're not, the big perk, of course, is all the profits go to you and the creative team, but you get to choose how you present it, what it's printed on, how it's presented. I mean, just
Everything.
all the important aspects that should be in the hands of creative people and not goofy blue-haired weirdos. Is where it's at here, and I think that's important. I think, I look at Graveyard, Dragon Guard, Shadow Sentry. I mean, those are all books that not only do I love them now, the idea of them, and I can't wait that anticipation is there, but I darn well know that 16-year-old me would have been like, oh, heck yeah. When is this coming? It brought that excitement back to me that I haven't had in a long time, because, man, comics have just gotten so boring. And I used to appreciate when it first started coming out, like with like the Brian Hitch stuff, where it was more like photorealistic. But like with Stormwatch and the Authority and the Ultimates, it worked for that, I think. But it just there's no fun in it to me. And comics have to be fun. They have to have a sense of excitement. It can't just be boring all the time and just people talking about, like back in the day when like Ditko and Stan Lee did Spider-Man, it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to sit around and mope all day because I'm sick. It's, oh, I'm sick. It's affecting my Spider-Man powers, and the Green Goblin's going after Aunt May, so I have to struggle through this illness to rescue my aunt, to make sure, there was a purpose for stuff like that, for everyday stuff to be in there. It affected the hero in a way that made the story interesting. It put a different level of danger, because he wasn't at 100%. Whereas now it's just like, oh, I'm depressed, or oh, and a whole issue of just moping and nonsense. I don't know. I don't know.
Real quick, Nikki Harris in the chat, he said, "Yeah, I was going to ask that. Would you both prefer in an ideal world to work for Marvel or DC over doing a crowdfund if the pay was the same, or has the whole SJW crap turned you both off? Full stop."
Well, where is your stance on it?
I think like 10 years ago, I'd be like, oh yeah, definitely work for Marvel or DC. But and if the pay is the same, but nowadays it's like I wouldn't be excited as I would be like 10 years ago to work on any of the Marvel or DC characters, just because they're, you have to put up with all the corporate crap, and then it's like, what kind of SJW stuff they want to do, and it just wouldn't be fun. I wouldn't, I'd much rather do my own book and get paid the same and have the freedom to do what I want to do with my characters, and just creating is just so fun. And so I wouldn't. 10 years ago maybe, but not today. No way.
Yeah, I'm pretty much with you on that. I've kind of always known that if I did get into comics, it would be doing independent stuff or my own creator-owned stuff, because for some reason when I draw the big two characters, I don't feel like it's either a confidence thing or I don't know. But like when I draw my stuff, I'm like, yeah, there's more confidence behind it. When I draw a lot of times I'm like, Batman doesn't really look like Batman or whatever. But yeah, as a kid, absolutely. Although I was the weird kid, I didn't want to, when I grew up, I didn't want to draw like Spider-Man, or even though he was my favorite as a kid, or Superman or Batman. I wanted the weird books. Like growing up, my favorite DC characters were Firestorm and the Blue Devil, and
Hmm.
for some reason they were just different. They were newer at the time because I born in the 70s, raised by the 80s. So I
I'm
would
gonna
have
have to look up the Blue Devil. I can't even think of what the Blue Devil looks like.
Yeah. Make sure you look up like the Blue Devil from the 80s. It's Paris Cullen was the artist, and it was gosh, I can't remember the character's name, but he was a stunt guy, and he was on this movie set for a movie called The Blue Devil, and he had like this suit that he wore that allowed him to do all these stunts and be like the monster or whatever. And they somehow through the course of the story, there it is. Yep, the orange cover. I think his first,
Okay, yeah.
I think his first story was actually a backup in Firestorm, which is how I came across him. But yeah,
Gotcha.
somehow this demon called Nebros was summoned, and when he attacked the stunt guy, tried to they later made him like an elemental or something. I don't know. I don't like it, but
Yeah, it looks kind of definitely modern.
yeah. But the demon guy, he basically fused the suit to him, made him the suit, so he was never able to take it off. And I just thought it was such a cool idea, such a neat idea. And then Firestorm, two characters that go into one, that was unique. And as a kid, I never seen that before, so I was always kind of drawn to the quirky, kind of weird stuff.
Yeah. So the Firestorm, I didn't realize he was more of that Gestalt character. I thought he was just one guy, with the fire powers. I never realized there was two.
It's God, man, my Alzheimer's is kicking in. But it's a professor and a kid. Man, I can't remember the names. But yeah, there's like a nuclear accident and they get fused together. So like,
okay,
the main persona and body is the kid, but there's like a ghost head appears up that only he can see. That's the professor, and they have the power of transmutation. So he can turn like a brick of stone into a brick of gold if he wants. He kind of has that Philosopher's Stones kind of touch thing.
Cool.
Yeah, it's like I said, quirky, neat character. The suits were cool.
Yeah,
they weren't the standard spandex. I mean, they still, a lot of them had like the underwear on the outside, or whatever, but they were different. And I liked another character I liked from the 80s was Starman, drawn by Tom Lyle, because the color selection was different. It was like a yellow and a purple, and the suit wasn't symmetrical. And
okay, this dude.
No,
Okay.
the one down, the one where he's on the rock, kind of looking a little bit down. Yeah, there we go.
That one there.
Yeah, that one.
Okay.
Like one sleeve is longer than the other, one boot is longer than the other. It was a unique cut to the costume, and it's stuff like that grabs my attention. It wasn't cookie cutter; it was a different idea.
Yeah.
So to speak, I guess. And then they changed it to that black and red costume, which I thought was dumb. Because it's like, oh, regular boots and regular gloves. Okay, here we go.
Right. You took away the coolness of him, man.
Yeah, it was just really dumb. It's like the thing that made him visually unique, you guys just took away. That's so dumb. But, yeah.
Cool, man. Well, I've honestly, like, some of these characters are new to me, like Starman and Blue Devil. So, I'm glad you brought them up.
Yeah, they were fun, and that's that's what I think is missing in a lot. It still had human stuff in it. It still had pathos and human misery and whatnot, but it was still fun, and that's the name of the game to me. It has to be fun.
Yep, it's got I mean, I enjoyed with all the Image titles, you brought up Stormwatch, and like even though Jim Lee didn't draw it, like I think it was Trevor Scott, maybe. I don't know if he started, but I know he eventually did some. Scott Clark. There you go. Thank you. So the art wasn't, like, I mean, it was good back then. Back then, I had no idea. Like, oh, look, that's off. The anatomy's off. Like, I wasn't looking at that stuff. Nowadays, when I pick it up, I'm like, oh wow, like you see more. But back then, I mean, it was like, yeah, they held your attention. They had the bad guy or something going wrong, and it's like the superheroes to the rescue, and it was like, and a lot of people give Image crap these days because they're like, oh, the stories were horrible and the writing was bad, and it's like back then I didn't care. It was just cool superheroes, and it was like you didn't need all the, I mean, as a kid, it's like, heck yeah, man, I love this stuff. So
yeah, and honestly, a lot of the, there was a lot of duds that came out that were just, pretty picture books. And a lot of those were, came out of certain studios, but there were also books that were written well. And, like I loved, like Wildcats and Cyberforce, and I loved the team books, and I loved Spawn, even though it seemed like wasn't really going any, like it was dragging out like something that could have been done like in an arc of like 6 issues. They like dragged it out for like years. and I just kept getting it because I liked McFarlane, and then when Capullo came on and McFarlane was inking them, it was a cool combo. And so that was a book that I just kept getting because of the visuals. But I mean, there was some decent stuff in there.
Yeah. And they'd bring on, bigger writers every now and then to write books for them and stuff. And but yeah.
I mean, they had Alan Moore writing Supreme for Extreme for a while, so I mean, they can't say all of it was crap. It won a ton of awards.
Yeah, Supreme was a book that I remember buying, like, the early issues, and it was cool. It was, it was different. Union was another one. I love Mark Texeira's work.
Oh yeah.
Actually, when I first got into comics, I was still in elementary school, and I still remember Mark Texeira, his work on Wolverine.
Yep.
And a girl that was like, trying to, she liked me, but I didn't really have any feelings for her. But she brought me some comic books.
Oh,
she knew the way to my heart. But she brought me I think 2 or 3 issues of Mark Texeira's Wolverine, and that just stuck with me for a while. The one cover has like Wolverine with his hand on his face, and then you see Scott and Jean in the background. And I think everything else is white, but it was just I remember that cover. It just stuck out to me. But yeah, he has such a really cool and different style. And then when he did Union, that was cool. That was some good stuff.
Yeah, I liked his Ghost Riders, where I discovered him when they brought in the second version of Ghost Rider. Originally, Texeira was inking over a guy, Salva. I can't remember the guy's name. He did like the first initial arc, and then Tex just took over pencils and inks. And it was such a cool. It was such a different book, but the style fit Ghost Rider so perfectly. It was just awesome. It was a must grab every month for me, regardless of whether I felt the story was crap or not, which I really didn't, because it was probably the first book that was really, really gritty. I know the 90s are they say, oh, everything had to get grim and gritty, but this was a book that really needed to be grim and gritty. And man, it was Tex's art just made it. I think the bad guy's name was Blackout. He was like this weird vampire with like mechanical fangs. And I can't remember who. he killed somebody that was close to the Dan Ketch, the guy that was the second Ghost Rider. Killed somebody close to him. I can't remember who, but it was just like, whoa, like offed somebody, you know, and in a gruesome way. And I was just like, oh, you know, it had a little more real life stakes, you know, other than just, oh, I've got to get this formula to so and so or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, it was cool. It was one of the first times I was like, oh man, this is not your dad's comic books.
Right. That's cool.
But yeah, he's got such a great style. And I was at a convention in Kansas City with a buddy of mine, and his older brother is a huge Thor fan, and Tex was there, and he got Tex to do a Thor in his sketchbook. That's all he has in the sketchbook is Thor, and it was so beautiful. That's
cool.
The guys who have a more illustrative style, like Tex, or there's a guy S. Clark Hallbaker who drew Nomad for a long time in the 90s. They kind of had come from like a Neil Adams school of drawing, where it's illustrated. Like, this is very stylized what I do. Like it's closer to cartooning than illustrative. I feel illustrative guys are the guys that can draw realistic but still make it dynamic. But yeah, his stuff was just awesome. Tex is awesome.
I want to try and find. I'm on my DeviantArt page. I'm trying to find. I did a Union pick like way long time ago, and I started reading Union again. I'm like, oh man, I got to do a Union pick. Right, let me see here. Union. There it is. All right, cool. I'll show you this in a second. There we go. On the screen here. Yeah, so this is me trying to do a Mark Texier. Where to put it? Over here. There it is. So there you go.
Oh,
so
wow, that's nice.
In 2016. So
yeah,
he had like these big, you know, the torso would be really big, and then his legs would kind of be like a little more skinny.
Dinky.
Yeah. But man, his like upper body and like his shading and stuff was just, I loved it.
Yeah, he's an awesome artist. So good.
Yeah. So, and I love the, you know, like his staff pops out of his little orb on his chest. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it goes back to that
so there you
go. Making stuff not symmetrical. You know, like,
yeah,
it's not dead center in his chest, or you know, the orb's not on his head, or oh wow, that's neat.
Yeah, this was Brett Booth posted this. I thought DC was going to do a total Wildstorm like rebirth book.
Oh, that'd be nice.
But apparently it was just like I think he just did it like just cause or something. I don't even know what this was for. But anyway, so I ended up changing a few things on it, but this is me inking over Brett Booth stuff. So this is fun. This is probably one of my favorite inking things I've done that wasn't over my work.
Oh, nice.
So I changed his face. He was looking a different way. I changed her outfit because I like this outfit from when Travis Charest was doing it.
Oh yeah.
And so yeah, I just changed a few things. This is like his normal look rather than the newer version of Backlash and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Nice, man.
Yeah, I dig Booth, man. Booth is another guy that, like, you'll like on that sign up page when you saw the double page spread and some of the panels are kind of wonky looking, like in different directions or whatever. That's total influence of Brett Booth. I love Brett Booth stuff. I actually have a bunch of his books by my desk to kind of keep me inspired to to do things a little. Try not to be so cookie cutter and 6 panels or 3 panel. Trying to get that. If it calls for it, get that kind of wacky flavor that he brings to it.
Nicky Harris said he's doing Bloodshot. He said Bloodshot's really nice. I haven't gotten any of those, but
they're super nice.
Yeah. So Pope Fire wants to know why Starfire is the best Titan, Mike. Can you answer that?
Boobs.
That's a great answer.
I cannot tell a lie.
There you go, Pope Fire. There you go. I think that's a pretty good answer.
Yeah, that was one of my my first runs of comics that I ever got was the George Perez Titans back in the day.
Oh, nice.
It was just so cool because normally, as a kid, you think of, well, at least for me anyway, as a kid, when I would think of like Marvel or DC always seemed like, even back then, like, oh man, those are my dad's hero, era of heroes, Superman and Batman and all that stuff. And Titans kind of made it cool to like DC again, and even gave X-Men at the time when it was at its peak, with great artists on it, and they were like, I think the number 1 and number 2 book for a long time. And I thought I had it up here. I got a copy of Bloodshot number 1, but it's just the inks. It's not colored.
Oh, nice.
Find it real quick. I moved my studio upstairs, and so.
Are comic shops open near you, Mike?
Honestly, I haven't been to a comic shop in so long. I couldn't tell you if they're open or not.
Okay. Yeah, I'm curious if they're, with everything. They're not going to be open here for a bit in California. I know that just because of the way everything's going, but maybe in some other more red states they might be opening up.
I know. I actually drove by one. It's the oldest one in the area, called Tim's Corner. They had a sign out saying they had curbside, where like, I guess you can call ahead and say, hey, this is so and so. This is my pull list. And then you pay for it over the phone, and then they bring it out to your car.
That's cool.
So I think they're still open. Oh yeah, talking about Sean Forney. That's his book. He also draws, inks, colors. Gosh darn it! Of course, it's probably going to be at the bottom of the stack.
Yeah, I've got some big stacks in my office too.
Or not.
Usually pretty good about keeping everything cleaned up in here, but I've got stacks of comics. I think because I started rearranging, and then I was on Wednesdays. I'm trying to do like a recommendation, comic recommendation thing. So yeah. I started pulling out books, and then I haven't put them back, and so I got just stacks and stacks.
Yeah.
I showed this one. 1 week, but I got the black and white version of Spawn 305, and it's all, just the inks.
Oh, yeah, I got that one too.
Yeah. So, how do I? Yeah, that's not coming out great. Some close-up shot of Todd McFarlane's inks. No. Well, yeah. I
wish it was a full issue of him in there, though. Not that Jason Howard guy or whatever he's got working for him.
Yeah, I think there might. I know Jason Scott Campbell did some stuff in 300 and in that one as well.
It's sweet. It looks so good. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Here's I can't find that Zero issue, but just look at that. That's Brett Booth, first page, Bloodshot throwing himself into a helicopter blade. I mean. It looks, okay, so yeah, this is like a talking scene, but it's visually interesting. You know,
Yeah.
it's not just well. Ugh. That's what I feel like. That's what I feel like in the morning.
Yeah, right. And is that Adelso Corona inking over him?
Adelso came from the Liefeld boards too. Yeah, there's a bunch of us came from there, and that's how he got started inking Rob on some stuff. Yeah, it's like just some really super cool stuff that Brett Booth does. Wish I could find that Zero issue because that thing's really cool. But I don't know where it went. And then here's Spawn 300.
I remember being at San Diego Comic-Con and I came across Norm Ratman's booth.
Oh, yeah.
And seeing his original inks over Brett Booth and stuff, and that was really cool.
Yeah, it's super cool. Yeah, this is like so neat. This double page that.
Nice. All the old school characters.
Yeah. And that's on Facebook, Todd was doing a bunch of videos for the build up to 300.
Okay.
He was talking about the paper that J. Scott Campbell used, and he couldn't use it was so slick that he couldn't use Crow Quill on it. He couldn't use regular pens. He had to use these Micron PNs, these plastic nibs. And so I went out and I bought a bunch, and I've drawn like complete pages in this volume 2 with just this and a brush for blacks.
Really? Does it have a very Crow Quill-esque kind of nib to it?
No, it's just I don't know. It's you can get like if you kind of go by on the side of it, you can get real thin lines, or you can get kind of a thicker line. I don't know. It's kind of versatile, but I feel like it runs out of ink really quick because I think the opening on it is just a hole.
Gotcha.
So it's not like going through the plastic or cloth point that a regular pen does. But I don't know. I like it. I can get a bunch of different lines out of it. So, and it's so crazy because I go through like one day I'm like, oh, I'm gonna Crow Quill everything, and then the next day I'm like, oh, I'm gonna use this, and then the day after that I'm like, oh, I'm gonna use my brush pens, and it's so weird. Lately I've been unable to just like stick with one tool, which I guess is good, but I've just been going through, I guess, moving my studio and finding all these different pens that I had that I didn't realize I had. That's got 2 tips to it.
Yeah, it's good to experiment for sure, because then it's like, you find an easier way to do something you've been racking your brain trying to do.
Oh, yeah. Kuretake and some Tombow and the Emoji. I never knew what the name of these things were because everything's always in Japanese on it.
Right.
Until I watched one of your streams and you're like, oh, Emoji pens. And I'm like, haha, there's a name to it now.
Yeah, and I think
hooray.
I think it's on, I don't know if, because Mike Miller, okay, yeah, so on the packaging, it says Bemoji right over here. So that's, and that's, I think that's what Mike was calling him, Mike Miller. So it's like, oh, okay. But yeah, everything else is in Japanese. So it makes it kind of hard.
Yeah, I definitely can't wait till, because I'm in Illinois, and Illinois is on lockdown. So like even like Hobby Lobby and stuff is shut down. They're not open at all, and a lot of my pens are running out. And I'm kind of the guy, like some stuff I'm okay with like ordering it on Amazon and waiting a couple days, but like art supplies, I just want to go and get it and then come home.
Right. Same here.
Yeah, because there's a Hobby Lobby literally down the hill from my house, and it's kind of frustrating not being able to go and get art supplies. And I understand, people need to be safe.
Yeah.
But I got a book to finish, folks. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. Recently, have you heard of MrArt.com?
Never heard of it.
Well, actually, I got these from Blick.com. I went on Mr. Art, and they were out of a few of the Micron pens, but I found this. These are, you get 6 of each pen. So this is all 03 pens, and you get
Oh,
6.
nice.
And then so I got the 8s and I got the 5s. But I'm like, oh my gosh, like this will save me so much time and energy. Because the other packs you can get like 005, you can get 01, all in the same pack. But then it's like once you run out of one, you're done.
Yeah.
So I got 6 of each of those, and I'm like, all right, that's gonna hold me over for a good while. And I got some more of the Prismacolor black markers, so I could fill in my blacks. But yeah, that's cool. What's that?
That's a bombshell Harley Quinn commission I did for somebody.
Sweet.
That I need to mail off. I've been trying to do commissions when I can. Like I did this one for somebody on Twitter. It's a Herald of Galactus and Hyperion.
Cool.
It's kind of a homage to a cover that he wanted.
Cool. So, Mike, if you might indulge me, what's your process like when you for just a page? Like, what's your normal process?
Well, I get a story, and then sometimes I'll noodle out on the back of the page or along the side, like at the bottom. But a lot of time, I just go straight to the artboard and just blue line it out, and then like that's like for this guy, I did more detailed blue line. But a lot of times for like these background characters, that's it, and then I just hit it with ink. Let me see
Gotcha.
Some pages.
Ooh, I see my name in there. Ready to strike Eric, who's on his knees looking up.
Oh, whoops. oops. That's volume 2 stuff. Let's see.
Here's while you're looking for that, I'll show everybody my snake eyes. So I've been doing this gray tone paper. So I did a Batman, and this one is snake eyes. I don't think I've ever drawn snake eyes like a full image, so I did this last night just for fun. So that's what that is. That's what you guys are looking at. And I like how you can put the white out on the paper and stuff. And and I got a chalk pen. It's like a red chalk pen, and that's how I did the red. And it kind of sits on top and pops out. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I've never done tone paper, but I've seen a lot of people doing it more lately, and I think once this book is done, I might hit the art store and just do some get some stuff and just start experimenting. Like, yeah, because I feel like if I don't have something else to kind of preoccupy my brain to kind of grow,
yeah, just expand your horizons a little bit.
Yeah, like here's an example. If I don't at least redraw a whole page each book, something's wrong. And yeah, like here's an example of page 31, and I've got those wonky panels that I get from Brett Booth, but like that right there was so horrible. I was like, nope, not going to try to save it. Not going to try to save it. But a lot of times on the back of boards, I do thumbnails if I'm really having a hard time trying to figure out camera angles. But a lot of time I just go straight to it. Like this one, this ain't giving anything away. But you can see all the blue line under it. Just make sure I get the muscle structure down. A lot of
kids are hard to draw.
Oh God, I really hate drawing kids. I'm just gonna say it. I really hate drawing kids. But what's nice is in the book, the main character Joe, he has a wife and 2 kids, so I drew one to look like one of my boys, my oldest boy, Michael, and then I drew the other one to look like the writer's son, Mark's son, Chase.
Oh, cool.
So I try my best, but it's really hard to keep children from looking like little people.
Yeah.
Like full-grown adults, but they're just little people.
Yeah.
So it's hard to keep. But then if it gets too, you try to do their faces are more round and whatever. But then if you do that too much, then it looks like too cartoony, and it doesn't fit the world that you're building. So it's a tap dance around around that, and it's kind of a pain in the butt.
Yeah, I need a lot of reference, and even babies, their head structure is different than ours. It's bigger forehead, and everything else is like scrunched, and it's hard because we draw men and women all the time. It's like, oh, I got to draw a little person.
I know it's hard.
It is, yeah.
But I mean, that's also kind of the fun part about it being an artist is going after your weaknesses. I know I'm not real big into drawing a lot of technical stuff because it's mostly just time consuming. But I found myself like with this book, there's some fight scenes that are in like a building. And I found that I was drawing like corridors just really, really plain. And so I started adding like tech and stuff into the walls because I figure this is, it's not futuristic, but it's in a world that, ninjas exist and characters who have snakes coming out of their mouth exist. So, it would make more sense to make a place that houses these people look a little bit more impressive than just drywall.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, that's one of the hard, because I mean, when you're doing a interior building, you got to kind of design it like an interior designer. You need, if you want to make it look interesting and everything, you kind of have to be that interior designer. And I want plants over here. I want pictures on the walls. I want,
yeah.
Or if it's that scientific-y kind of building, you got to do some tech stuff. So it's not easy, but it's fun.
Yeah, when they say that artists are, I don't even really know if we would say we're directors. I would say we're like directors of photography. We're the lighting guy. We're the costumer. We're everything that's underneath like the director and the screenwriter.
Yeah.
Because really the writer is kind of the director. He kind of tells you, unless it's a very simple script. Mm-hmm. But most writers will tell you, this is what my vision is. You need to draw it. So I kind of tend to think of comic artists more as not directors, but everybody below it. So we don't get the top 2 spots, but we get everything underneath.
Yeah.
The colorists are the special effects artists, and the letterers are, I would consider, almost the sound score, because they do how the lettering looks and how the sound effects look and all that stuff. So
it's true.
Yeah. I ramble. I'm sorry.
No,
I ramble so much. Because we are probably so far away from that first question.
Yeah. What was that first question? I forget. Yeah. Tell me about your process, Mike.
Oh yeah. That's what it was.
But speaking of lettering, though, I told Eric Weathers if I got to 15K, I was gonna hire him to do the lettering because I don't want to mess with it. I lettered the pages on my campaign, but I had a few people give me some, tips and pointers, and I'm like, okay, I thought I could do it, but it's just too much trouble. So
yeah, Eric does a great job.
Yeah.
I actually think he did the letters on.
He did Graveyard Shift, right?
Yeah, he did our book too.
Oh, sweet.
U.S.
Cool.
Assassin, yeah. So I surrounded myself with people who have good credit. Like Mark is a proven writer. He's had writing gigs long before Comicsgate, and Andrew Dahlhaus, who colored it, is the guy that colors Brett Booth all the time, no matter where he goes. And Eric Weathers is everybody's letterer and a fantastic artist in his own right.
Yeah.
So really, the only X factor is my stupid hack butt. So
whatever, man. Well, we're gonna tomorrow night. We're doing we're drawing a fan edition.
Yeah,
and it's gonna be the Battle of the Erics. So Eric Weathers, myself, Eric Scott Hawkins, and then Eric Hodgson, I think.
Oh dang!
So yeah, so we're gonna have 4 Erics, and we're gonna battle it out. We're gonna be drawing Oz stuff. So Eric Weathers campaign, and then I think Eric Scott Hawkins has an Oz, like a Zombiful Oz, World of Zombiful Oz, or something like that.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, so we're gonna be doing some Oz stuff. So that'll be fun. I'm excited.
Yeah, that book looks awesome. I really want to. It's kind of hard right now because money's tight, but I really want to get Battle Brick Road.
Yeah, same here.
It looks so good, and the idea is cool. I love Oz stuff.
I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, man, I want to go back and watch the original again because I love the each character has their flaw. Like the line, like I dig that that kind of stuff.
What's funny is my wife always shakes her head at me when I say it, but she's a huge Wizard of Oz fan. I grew up. I growing up, I had seen Wizard of Oz because it came out it was on a couple times a year on like WGN or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I always loved as a kid The Wiz. To me, that was my Wizard of Oz, and it was entirely African American cast. Michael Jackson was the Scarecrow. Nipsey Russell was the Tin Man. Diana Ross was Dorothy. I mean, it was more kind of funky music. I don't know. She always laughs at me. She's like, "Really? That's your go-to when you think of Oz?" I was like, "Yeah, it's just ingrained in my brain that." And then there were cartoons. I remember growing up. I can't find them anywhere, but it was like a Return to Oz animated movie or something, which was a little more. It had like the pumpkin head character. I know there was a movie with like Perusa Bulk, but that's not what I was thinking. What I'm remembering is animated. So someday I'll probably come across and be like, "Yay, I'm not losing my mind."
I kind of vaguely remember that.
Yeah, I just think the world of Oz has so much potential, and I even like the what was it called? That prequel they did a couple years ago with James Franco as the wizard.
Yes.
That one is it the Wonderful? Was it the Wonderful Wizard of Oz? I can't remember what it was called, but you know, it had Rachel Weisz as one of the witches, and I'll watch anything with Rachel Weisz in it because
she's the chick.
Rachel Weisz.
Was she the girl from
The Mummy?
Oh, okay. I was thinking of The Greatest Showman. She's like the wife.
I don't think that's her.
Okay, I'll have to look her up.
Yeah, she was the librarian in the Mummy movies.
Okay. From the original Mummies?
No, the Brendan Fraser ones.
Yeah. Okay. All right, that's one. I know they're doing like a new reboot. They did the Tom Cruise one and all that, but
yeah, that was horrible.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, and then the wasn't there like a prequel to the original Wizard of Oz or something they did too, or no?
I think that was the James Franco one.
Okay, but not like an older one. For some reason,
I don't. I don't remember.
Okay. Yeah. all my memories are getting discombobulated right now.
It's hard to. I mean, I'm going to be 46 this year, and every once in a while I'll have a memory shoot through my brain. I'm like going, oh yeah, and I'm just like, something that is so a part of who you are that you can't imagine being who you are without it.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that you can't remember it unless, like, I don't know, I see something or I smell a smell of something that reminds me of something, and then my brain works its way to that thought, and I don't know. I'm sure
Yeah.
I'll be in an old folks' home with like Alzheimer's and schizophrenia, and they'll be like, I don't understand how this guy's brain works because I do this weird kind of connect the dots, and I can get to a place that has nothing to do with what we were talking about or what somebody brought up in a conversation, but I can figure out a way to link it to something that goes on in my head. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm a very what do you call it? Like a photographic memory.
I wish.
So I'll like, I see something, then it makes me think of something else that I've seen, and like immediately picture it in my head.
Yeah.
Like recently, my kids, we downloaded all these Sega classic games on our Fire TV.
Oh, nice.
So it's got like Sonic the Hedgehog, the Golden Axe, and Streets of Rage.
Ooh.
And so we're like playing that. It has Streets of Rage 1 and 2, or does it have 3? No, actually, I think it has 1, 2, and 3. So we're playing them, and then like immediately my mind flashes back to when I played this other game as a kid with my stepbrother, and I never had a game system, but he always like had the latest and coolest game system. So, but I could have swore there was a better version of Streets of Rage that was kind of more like, it looked like Street Fighter. And there's this guy with like a red jacket, and I could have swore his name was Axel. And he runs around and he can pick up a pipe and start smacking people. And so I went on the internet. I'm like searching. I'm like, what is this game that I'm thinking of in my head? And I couldn't find it.
Thanks.
Yeah, but it was just like bugging the crap out of me because I unless it was that game, and I just remember it differently as a kid. But I could have swore he had a red jacket on, and he was like more of like a Street Fighter-esque character with the graphics that were just better, and I could not find it. So I don't know. So anyway, what's up, Ray Thulu? Nikki Harris says he loved both of those. Yeah, it's fun, like just going back and playing those games. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, I was kind of a game like a video gamer like in the 90s when I was in like my 20s, and like my favorite system was the Nintendo 64 because you could drop the thing off the top of your house and then plug it in and it'd still work. But I just loved like all the wrestling games, and I remember getting the very first Nintendo, and because I'm old. And
I still remember.
Yeah,
I remember my dad bought it for us for Christmas, and we all started fighting over who would play first or something, and so we had to sit there and watch my dad play Duck Hunt for like the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, my dad did that too. He bought it was funny because he gave me a choice. He's like, you can either get a home computer or a Nintendo, and I said I want a home computer because I wanted to be up on and of course it was home computers were like the big green pixels and stuff like that back then. Mm-hmm. But he wanted buying me a Nintendo instead. I'm like, all right. But like he bought me all the one. He was a real big World War I or World War II buff. He his whole library downstairs was all war books, and oddly enough, he had a copy of Mein Kampf, but he's not a Nazi, which I know. Oh, I'm not going to get on that tangent, but he bought the 1941 game, which was like you had like I think it was like a B-2 bomber or something like that, and it was one of those, it kind of like a Galaga kind of thing where you're just kind of going back and forth shooting stuff as it comes along, and he played that for like 2 hours, and I'm like, can I play? Yeah, I remember Duck Hunt, and Contra was my jam. I loved Contra.
Yes.
up, up, down, down, left, right, BA, 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 select start.
Right.
But the game that I really, really loved, because it was the first game that had like a story to it, was Ninja.
Yes.
And it had those really cool. I mean, even the graphics were not stellar, but I mean, it had like those like moving pictures with like every once in a while something would flap, like the wind was going, and it had like the story underneath and characters talking to each other. And to me, I was like, wow, that's really cool, because it was more than just entertainment. It was storytelling. And I thought that was just like the coolest thing. So I played that game till it died, and still never finished it. I think I wound up being able to finish the second Ninja Gaiden game before I ever got anywhere close on the first one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I loved old school games, and things now are just so complicated. I'm an old fart. I'll admit it. I can't, like, all these RPG games, and like I play games on my phone. Like I play Star Trek games. I have Star Trek Online, which I haven't touched in like 2 weeks. But like I like silly stuff. I think the latest system I have is still a PlayStation 3, and the only games I have was, I think, Uncharted 1 came with it. I have one of the Arkham Asylum games, and I have a bunch of the wrestling games. Because sometimes you just need to whoop some ass.
That's right. Do you remember Comic Zone?
Yeah, vaguely.
Yep. Nikki Harris brought it up. So it's on this. You when I got all the different games, it was on there, and I don't think I've ever played it as a kid, but I started playing it. I'm like, this is so cool. Like it's probably one of the better, like as far as like the fighting, very similar to like Streets of Rage and stuff, but it's the gameplay is almost better.
Awesome. Yeah, the picture with the guy with the ponytail down there. That ad was in the back of every single comic in the 90s.
Yes. Yep. I remember that.
Yeah. I'd have to go. Was that only a Sega game? Because I think I would have to go to. I remember playing it. I think I had to go to one of my buddy's houses to play it.
Yeah, I don't know. But I mean, you hop across the panels, but then you have all these, the narrative balloons, and like they talk to each other. And so it's really cool. It's a little more engaging than some of the other games that are on this thing that we got. But I played it a little bit. My kids were like, I don't like it. So one of these days I'll get on there and just play by myself and see how far I can get.
Sorry, my side-scrolling game's too boring for you, kid.
I know.
Go mow the yard.
No, it's freaking fun. It's cool. So
yeah, I like that kind of stuff, because it's, I don't know, when you have like a completely immersive 3D environment and you have to use 2 buttons on top, 2 toggle switches plus buttons, and I'm just like,
yeah,
I can barely put my pants on without help. So being able to work all my fingers independently, I'm not a drummer. I can't work things at different beats or whatever. But yeah, some of the stuff that I see is it's just too. Sometimes you don't need to make things super complex to make them fun.
Yeah, totally.
It just.
I gotta ask you though, for Nintendo 64, do you remember playing 007 GoldenEye? I think it was.
Oh yeah. That
was probably my. As a kid growing up, that was my most fun game.
Oh,
just a lot of good memories and just super fun gameplay.
Oh yeah, we I had moved away. I grew up in Davenport, Iowa, and I moved up to Cedar Falls, Iowa, because I was going to go to college at community college up there, and then try to get into University of Northern Iowa, which didn't work out. But my group of friends up there, we would just, like, every Sunday was we would all go over, and in the mornings we would play Worlds of Darkness role-playing game, and then the rest of the night we'd get pizza and beer, and we would play GoldenEye, and inevitably one person out of the group always wound up getting motion sick, because you're that screen split into 4, and four screens are going in different directions, and I remember God, what did we call it? There was some word for it. There, one of this guy Josh that was part of our group. He was really good at just. He was like a ninja. He would sneak up behind you and just pop you in the back of your head, and we're like, where did you come from, or
Right.
You have to be cheating somehow. But it's like, But yeah, man, GoldenEye was some really good memories.
Yeah.
I love GoldenEye.
Was there? I don't even know, but I mean, were there other games that you could do like 4 players? Probably Mario Kart, but
Mario Kart. I think there were other games that were similar to GoldenEye that were like that.
yeah.
Gosh, was Star Fox? I don't know. Star
Just
Fox was
that first person shooter, like just taking on your friends, like it was just like that was super fun.
Yeah, my two, of course, most of the games I've ever owned are wrestling games, but there was a WCW one that I can't remember called, but then there was a WWF one called No Mercy, and then there was WrestleMania 2000, and those games were where things started kind of getting better than just like the blocky characters. You would be able to have more control. There was actual music for the intros, and you could create your own character. I think you could create your own character back then. Maybe not. But yeah, those Nintendo 64 is my favorite. It was just a more comfortable controller. You had that toggle in the middle. You had the buttons, and certain games you had the toggle and the trigger was on that middle handle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a Super Nintendo, but I couldn't tell you outside of the Star Wars games what games were good on Super Nintendo.
It seems like worlds away from.
Yeah, and then I didn't have anything until a regular PlayStation. A couple years later, and I played. Gosh, it was one of the Final Fantasy games with the brunette character Squall. I think he had the gunblade. I played the crap out of that one because I thought the visuals were really neat. And then like the next Final Fantasy, they were like all super deformed. They were like tiny squished characters. Where like the game I liked playing, they looked like anime characters. They were kind of long and lanky and had the anime kind of characteristics on their face. And then they went to this weird super deformed one for the next game, and I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm out.
Yeah.
Talking about like redrawing stuff. This was an idea for the cover for Volume 3.
Okay.
And I really didn't like it. It was kind of boring. So then I kind of did that version of it. But to me, that's still not. That might be like the back cover. It's just like I can completely draw something, put all this time into it, and then just redraw it.
Yeah,
that's the downside of going straight to the page. Is you're so I'm so in that moment and so in that idea that I have to almost wait till I'm done to take a step back and go, oh yeah, that's boring. I need to make that more exciting.
Yeah, I would probably I'd probably draw it all and then just erase it because I'm like, nope, not working, and move on to something else. But that's dedication because you like finish it, then look at it and be like, nope. But then you still have it, and you look back on it, and I just erase it.
Yeah. Like I said, I have this weird thing with my brain that I have to, and I've had to get better about it over the years. Like I used to not draw because, like in the early 2000s, I stopped drawing for a while because I never had time to if I can't start a drawing and then finish it in that same day, then I won't start it. And I've had to get better over these last 10 years about that aspect of me, just to get work done. I've kind of made it to where like, okay, here's my goal. I'm either going to my goal for the day is I'm either going to lay this out in blue line, and then the next goal would be I'm going to draw one panel, and then the next day it's, you know, some days I can draw a whole page in a day, and sometimes it's, you know, a couple hours here, a couple hours there. It's just really hard because I'm so impatient with things like I've always been that kind of that kid that I need it now. I need that gratification of finishing something now, and you know, it drives people at my day job nuts because my day job is building construction equipment, and somebody will be like, "Hey, you know, can you come over here, or you need to come down to this part of the line and fix this or whatever," and I hate breaking the rhythm of what I'm doing, you know.
Right.
You know, my job is I have to do A, B, C, D, you know, and if I have to break that, I'm sure that's probably some sort of autistic tick that I don't realize I have, but that's just the way my head works. I need to kind of finish, and I've been getting better. Like I said, you know, doing a couple hours here, a couple hours there, getting stuff done just for the sheer sake of, otherwise it'll never get done.
And how many hours do you have to dedicate to just comic drawing?
Lately, a lot.
Right. So you're off of work with your regular gig, and
till beginning of June I go back. So I'll have U.S. Assassin Volume 2 done before I go back to work, and I'll be able to work on a couple of extra things in the meantime. But that seems to be like we have a dedicated shutdown at our factory during the summer. It's 2 weeks. And like last year, I think I drew like 10 pages in 2 weeks. And it's if I can have that dedicated amount of time where I'm not fighting the clock to have to go to bed, to go to work the next morning, then it kind of works best for me. But otherwise, I'll take pages to work.
Oh, nice.
And I'll just work on, you know, 15-minute first break, half hour second break. You know, you're not going to get a lot done, but every little bit helps. You know, got to pick away at that rock till it looks like David or whatever the story is.
Yeah, that's dedication, man.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Well, are you ready to wrap it up, my friend?
Yeah, our baby's going to be waking up here soon. So my wife will be coming downstairs. I'm sorry if I kind of took over the stream, but I ramble. I ramble so much.
Hey.
I'm very stream of conscious kind of verbalizer.
No worries, man.
So
that's why I invite you on. So I don't have to talk.
Awesome.
Real quick, would you mind just go ahead and plug your, let people know about USA Assassin and all that good stuff?
US Assassin, there's a second chance campaign or a sign up page on Indiegogo right now. We're hopefully within a month to have the campaign up and running. The story centers around Joe Knight, who is the US Assassin. He is an elite operative for the government who, the beginning, he finishes up his last mission and gets told that he can go into a consulting job, and he finds out that this government agency called Blackstorm, what they're doing is they're creating the next generation of soldiers, and they're using metahumans. And their first mission goes wrong, and it causes Joe to kind of not so much go on the run, but kind of retaliate against them because they kind of come hunting for him. So like the trailer for it says, old habits die hard. He has to become the U.S. assassin one more time to take these guys down and protect his family. And it's going to be a lot of fun, I think. You will definitely see because it's 80 pages.
Oh wow.
I think 70 of it is the story, and then there's like 10 pages of extra stuff in the back.
Nice.
You are going to see, because I started it in, I think, like late 2016, and then I finished it in 2019. So you're definitely going to see a growth as an artist. And I think that's, for me, that's a fun part. You get to see, you know, page one of that book looks completely different than the last page. And it's because of growth, you know, during that, especially through that amount of time. Like I'm almost done with this, and it took me less than a year to do 50 pages. So, but yeah, I hope everyone sticks around. The first volume has, I think, 4 different inkers on it, and I decided for volume 2, it's all pencil ink, it's all me. Because I want to make sure that it's consistent, at least as consistent as I can be, so that it looks the same throughout. And if there is growth, it'll probably be more slight, because I think I finally found my groove of how I want my art to look. But yeah, for as cool as volume 1 is, volume 2 is super nuts. It kind of like I think I was telling Mark, I feel like volume 1 is like the first Lethal Weapon, where you kind of have to build up the characters, and then volume 2 is like Lethal Weapon 2, where it starts in the middle of the story, like the action, like something is happening, like as soon as you each one of volume 2, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And if we're lucky enough to do volume 3, by that last page of volume 2, if that last page doesn't convince you to want and desperately need volume 3, then nothing will, because that last page is a jaw-dropping stunner. And volume 3 is going to be probably the most fun I will have in my art career, just because of what's going to happen, who's involved character-wise. So yeah, when it comes live, I'm going to be promoting the out of this Second Chance campaign. When people,
is it limited to 300 copies?
Yeah, that's all we got for the Second Chance. Because every single back, it doesn't matter what tier you were, every single backer for Graveyard Shift Volume 2 that was a free perk. So every single person gets a copy of Volume 1 of U.S. Assassin. So I think they had like over 2,000 backers, maybe, or something like that, or 1,700. So there's that many copies, and then the 300 that we're going to do. And then if Volume 2 is successful, we're going to do a reprint of Volume 1,
nice,
I believe. And I've got somebody really cool lined up to do the cover for that. We're going to kind of do kind of like what John did with Andrew Huerta on that Graveyard Shift Volume 2 that came out, that variant. Give you an extra, people who want just the first chapter of the story, and then also give them, you know, a new cover to entice them to go for it. But that's all. It all depends on the success of Second Chance campaign and Volume 2, how well it does. And if it does well, we're going to keep making them. I know we have at least 4 volumes worth of material. And if it goes beyond that, hopefully it does, because I would rather draw our characters than somebody else's. But yeah.
Yeah.
And then check out Mark Polton at Coney Waves on Twitter. And I think he's Primetime Polton on YouTube. He's always posting stuff for his campaigns, along with U.S. Assassin. He's always posting pages and giving me praise that someday I will be worthy of. And he's just a great guy. He loves wrestling. He loves creating books and ideas with his son Chase, which I think is awesome. And he's one of my best friends.
Cool. Yeah, I thought Chase Polton tagged on something that he had on his Twitter page.
Yeah, like our big bad guy. I can show it real quick. The main bad guy for U.S. Assassin, this guy Slither.
Mm-hmm.
That's created by his son.
Oh, that's cool.
He came into his work one day, dropped this drawing he did on his dad's desk, and as soon as he posted it and I saw it, I said, that's where we kind of changed the direction of Volume 1 story to have metahumans in it. Because I was like, he has to be one of the bad guys. That is just too cool. I did a real quick upper torso sketch of him based on what Chase drew, sent it to Mark, and Mark's like, oh yeah, we're gonna do this. And I dug out a bunch of old designs I had of characters. He put abilities and names and personalities to those designs, and it's so much fun working with Mark.
Cool.
So I'm gonna stop rambling.
Awesome, man. Well, the link to your Twitter page and then also the link to the pre-campaign page for U.S. Assassin is in the description. So everybody, please check it out. And awesome, man. It was definitely fun. Thank you for joining me again. I appreciate it, man.
Thank you for having me. I love doing these. I don't get a whole lot of free time to do it because usually most people do them late at night, and I'm dead asleep. So I appreciate that you do these during the day, and I appreciate you having me on and allowing me to go on like a senile old man.
No problem, man. I enjoy it.
Shadow Sentry, guys, back it, get it. It's going to be awesome. I've got my copy waiting. When it fulfills, I bought one, so you should too.
All right, awesome, man. Thank you. And after it's all done and you get it in hand, we'll do another stream. You could tear it apart on me. I'll give you, just go ape crazy and tell me what you really think.
Dude, I look at the stuff that you have posted as inspiration right now. So there will probably be no tearing apart because your goals, you and guys like Mike Miller is one of the best draftsmen in comics, I feel. And just everybody in this community, Comicsgate adjacent, not Comicsgate, whatever, this Indiegogo independent market that everyone is creating, everybody's stuff just looks so good. It looks great. Like how comics should look. They're fun, and I can't wait to dig into more new books.
Heck yeah. Cool. And then real quick, I'll just plug tomorrow night on the Drawn and Quartered Fan Edition. I mentioned it earlier, but again, me, Eric Weathers, Eric Scott Hawkins, and then Eric Hodgson. We're all going to do a battle. There's probably going to be some other people on there, but we're going to do some Wizard of Oz-esque stuff. Eric Weathers has his Battle Brick Road book out, so that'll be one of the topics. And then Eric Scott Hawkins has his, I believe, Zombieful World of Oz. So all that is fair game, so it'll be fun. It'll be a throwdown for the ages to see who is the best Eric of them all.
Battle of the Erics.
Yeah. So, all right, guys, take care. Thank you, everybody, for joining. And till next time, peace.
See ya.
All right. And broadcast. See you guys.